Saturday of the 23rd week of Ordinary Time, full of grace. Mary's most faithful correspondence with all graces. Our Lady had the plenitude of grace which corresponded to her at every moment, and this grace grew and increased day by day, since graces and supernatural gifts do not limit the capacity of the one receiving them, but rather increase and expand that capacity for new gifts. The more we love God, the more our soul is enabled to love Him further and to receive more grace. By loving, we obtain new powers to love. Whoever loves me more has a greater desire to love and a greater capacity for loving. Grace invites more grace, and a plenitude of grace calls for an even greater plenitude. Mary's soul, is the first instant of its creation, received that immense treasures of grace. At that moment, the words that the angel spoke to her on the day of the Annunciation were already fulfilled. Hail Mary, full of grace. From the beginning, Mary has been loved by God above all creatures, because the Lord was fully pleased with her and filled her with supernatural graces, more than the angelic spirits and more than all the saints. Many saints and doctors of the Church consider that the initial grace in Mary was greater than the final grace of all other beings. Of Our Lady, St. Thomas states that her dignity is a certain sense infinite. This grace was given to Mary on account of her divine motherhood. What is more, because of her physical and spiritual contact with the sacred humanity of Christ, as His mother, she was able to grow in grace in a continual and inexhaustible way, in an entirely special and exceptional manner. Mary is united to Christ, and similarly, she is eternally loved for this beloved Son, this Son who is of one being with the Father, in whom is concentrated all the glory of grace. The fruits of her maternity were extraordinarily great, according to the principle which St. Thomas expresses as follows: the closer the recipient is to the source, the more he or she participates in the effects. No other creature was ever so close to God. The continuous increase of our Mother's fullness of grace was more intense at certain specific moments in her life: at the Incarnation, at the Nativity, at the Cross, at Pentecost, when Our Lady received the Holy Eucharist. Fullness of grace and fullness of freedom went together in Our Lady, since one is more free insofar as one is more holy. As a result, she gave a most faithful response to these gifts of God, and through that response she obtained abundant merits. Let us, who are her children and who have such great need of her help, go to her now.